Hello, very welcome to Progress Junior Golf. My name is Steve Jackson, and this is Ian Waterhouse.
Hello, everybody. Good evening, and Steve, it's good to see your smiley face as always.
as always, yes. Now, this podcast is all about junior golf. It's about the next generation of golfers. It's about trying to get more boys and girls involved with the game of golf. This is show number 7, and today we're going to go overseas. We're going to look at golf on the other side of the Irish Sea, hence the green.
Overseas for us, though, Steve. Not for those in Ireland. They're staying at home. We're going overseas.
Absolutely, we're going overseas. That's it. Now, my favourite country to play golf in it is. Golf courses are magnificent. The scenery is wonderful. The people are so friendly, and the weather is. That's where it kind of like falls down a little bit, doesn't it? No, actually, we're going to find a positive on that because the weather can be actually quite inspirational. But golf is on the rise in Ireland. There's no doubt about that. So let's find out a little bit more about how junior golf is progressing over there. So we're going to be joined by Irish Junior Golf Tour organiser Michael Gallagher, and we're also going to get contributions by New Forest Golf Club professional Stephen Barrett and Irish golf journalist Emma Self. So it's going to be a really cracking show this evening. We're going to cover a lot about golf on the other side of the Irish Sea. So really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
First things first, though, let's get that golf news then. So starting, let's start nice close to home then, shall we? The Hawaiian State Amateur Championship, of course. We've got to start there, haven't we? And
of course.
Of course. It was won by Scotland's under-16s team member Niall Shields Donegan. He won by 7 shots, helped by a hole-in-one in his first round on a par 4 hole, I might add as well. So well done to him. 67 he started off with, and then shot 74, 71 and 70. Staying overseas, Spain, the R&A Student Tour Series, they had an event in Tarragona, both the men's and women's events there, both finishing dramatic playoffs. Owen Sullivan from Carton House, he beat Ben Brooks from Sandbach, chipped in for an eagle on the 18th hole to win it, so what a way to win it there. Scores of 70, 69 and 70. Lorna McClymont from Milngavie made it 3 wins in a row in the women's event. She beat Darcy Harry from Royal Porthcawl on the first extra hole. She birdied the 18th hole to make the playoff and then birdied it again to win the playoff. So well done to her.
Nice.
The series final, that takes place on April the 4th, between April the 4th and April the 6th. That's at Barney Links, Castle Course and the Jubilee Course up in St Andrews. So really fantastic to go up to Scotland. Staying in Scotland then, Stephen Gallagher Foundation. We got a photo of a couple of players who played in this event. It was played at Swanston Templar Golf Club up in Scotland. It was an adult junior Texas Stamble. I mean, look at that swing on the right hand side there. I mean, that's
better than my swing, that, Steve.
Hey, we're
saying Why'd you size the one on the left, actually?
Well, let me tell you about the one on the left then. So Joseph O'Day, and he is 2 years old. So they start them young in Scotland. When we talk to Michael about an Ireland, we'll find out whether they start at 2 years old over in Ireland. But that's fantastic there. So really good. That was the first event of the year on the Stephen Gallagher Foundation Tour. So really good there. Now, let's go to Wales then. The US Kids South Wales Tour, their first event of the year was at Swansea Bay. Won't go through all the scores because there's lots of different age categories and boys and girls. Alfie Skinner, Oliver Smith did very well. They won the boys, the 9-hole competitions, and Nevi Clark and Alicia Kelly both won the girls 9-hole and 18-hole categories. Over 60 boys and girls played in that event, so really good there. Staying in Wales, Jess Evans from Newport Golf Club. She's become the girls' home internationals Welsh captain for this year, and Llewellyn Matthews from Malay Castle is the boys' home internationals captain. Now, let's go back into England then. South of England Youth Championship. This took place at Rye Hill Golf Club. The Bernard Darwin Salva. Previous winners of this competition include Tyrrell Hatton. First and second were 2 players from Kent. The winner was Jack Shipton from Royal St George's. He shot 68, 66, there he is, 68 and 72. And second place from Rochester and Cobham was Jack Lee with 65, 74, 68 and 72. So well done to them. So a cracking event there. Now, Sunnydale Foursomes, this was mentioned in the last podcast when we did the news, and you know a little bit more about this. And when I say you know a bit more about that, you called out the people who were going to do well in this competition, and not only did they do well, what happened?
Well, they only went and won it. I mean, of course, you could watch it live with Live Golf Now. There's at Live Golf Now. We were there to broadcast the semi-finals and finals, and they almost caught us out, actually, because all week we'd have beautiful weather all week, and then the Friday comes along and gorgeous morning. Rain is scheduled, though. So instead of teeing off at about 9:30 and letting me have a nice lay-in, they thought, no, we're going to get things underway at 8 a.m. Get things underway to try and cover off the rain. We get out for the final and it chucks it down for the entire final. Half an hour after, it's beautiful sunshine again. But there you go. But what an incredible final it was. And of course, if you haven't seen it, where have you been? Rachel Gawley and Lottie Woad won at a canter against two pros. Now, it is worth mentioning the girls had 10 shots on the two chaps. And that's fair because they're two amateurs and that's how it works. However, as we know, Rachel and Lottie, they're no amateurs. they are far too good. And they won. So, yeah, congratulations to Rachel Gawley and Lottie Woad. And as we know, Steve, you know, we've seen for a long time the talents of these two young ladies. There's big futures in the game for them too.
So just to give you an idea of the score, they won 6 and 5 in the final. 128 pairs in that competition from start to finish. So fantastic the fact that they went through.
Do you know what? They just made no mistakes as well, Steve. On the holes that they got shots, they won those holes. And then on the shots at the two pros, they won their holes until it got to a point where just a little bit of a tipping point and the girls just held their own and managed to tie a couple of those holes. And then there was just no way back. Yeah,
so fantastic standard of golf. And but might not be standard of the weather, but standard of golf was great. So now I understand someone, a little birdie's told me you've got a bit of an exclusive. What's that?
I've got a little bit of breaking news to bring you, Steve. Yes, I have. I'm delighted to say, and it is junior related as well, that similar to last year, we have managed to strike a deal with England Golf, and we will be broadcasting live the English Under-18 Championships this year from Woodall Spa. That is June the 24th, 25th and 26th. You can watch it live across our channels and, of course, with our media partners, Golf Monthly Magazine, Today's Golfer, National Club Golfer, Women in Golf Magazine, Golf Magic, just to name drop a few. So, yes, from June, delighted to say the English Under-18 Championships will be broadcast live 3 days as well, not just the final day.
And for anyone who's ever been to Woodall Spa, that's a fantastic golf course. The bunkers there are deep, shall we say.
It's on the Hodgkin as well, so even better.
Exactly. So so really good for competition there. Now, staying with just finishing off the news then. So Robert Rock Junior Golf Tour, they had their first UK competition of the year. That was at Formby Ladies Golf Club. Over 100 juniors took place in that. Once again, I won't go through all the scores because there were so many different age categories there. But the interesting one, you'll like this, is the fact that there were 59 players who played in the 18-hole gross category. 55 of those, bearing in mind you go right the way down to very youngsters here, broke 100. So really good standard, and hopefully those will go on and get their handicaps down during the year. Lots of events have been taking place in recent weeks and will be taking place over the coming weeks and months. In particular, a fair amount of schools regional qualifiers taking place. So anyone who's been playing in some of those events and has qualified for the national final, well done. Keep your eye out there for progressjuniorgolf.com because we've got all the competitions on there, the latest information, and we are adding new events on a daily basis when we find out that these competitions are taking place. So there's some big competitions.
As well on that, Steve, there's the website there. There's also a link in the body of this broadcast to progressjuniorgolf.com, so you don't even have to type it out. Just click it wherever you're watching this. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, wherever, there's a link, direct link to that website right there. Give it a click. You don't even have to type it out. Can't make it any easier, can we? No excuse.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's the news. Now, we covered English golf there. We covered Spanish. We covered Welsh. We covered Scottish golf. We covered the Hawaiian Championship. There was one we missed out on, and that was Irish golf.
So of course, the best one. We missed out the best one. We saved the best till last. That's what we did.
Right. So let's get our guests on. We've got Stephen Barrett, New Forest Golf Club professional, and Irish golf journalist Emma Self. I've spoken to them as those two earlier in the week, so we're going to hear from those as we go through the show. But live on the show, we've got Irish Junior Open Tour organizer Michael Gallagher. So let's get Michael on.
I'm going to bring Michael in. I'm going to disappear into the back and manage the video. So I'll bring Michael in.
Evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Steve, something to pick up on first, though. I can't believe you left Irish golf to the end.
I know, shocking, isn't it? Well,
so
I'm going to give you 40 minutes, 45 minutes to talk about Irish golf here.
Oh, no, that's too long.
Now, right. First of all, we're going to talk about Irish golf. So, now I've got Stephen Barrett and Emma Self, like I say, So we're going to hear from them first of all. The simple question I asked them was, and I'll get your take on it as well, was what is the standard of junior golf like in Ireland at the moment? And this is what they had to say.
Always improve, but it's at a level where you've got so much strength and depth at all tours. You see the top end, and they're winning majors. And before Pádraig Harrington, it was probably just good for an Irish person to win on tour. And now there's major champions, there's Ryder Cup stars, and then on each tour you've got a huge amount of golfers playing on Challenge Tour, on Alps Tour, Gecko Tour in Spain, the Europro Tour, at all levels, and college golf as well. A lot of our Irish players are going to overseas to play in America and gain scholarships, or and they come back, and you can see the level of golf they're playing. It's just higher. It's across the board, yeah. So it's great for any junior who's 16 who's maybe thinking of something like that. There's opportunities there.
There's a lot of things we're seeing in junior golf in Ireland now that are probably trickling down from, let's be honest, Harrington probably started it recently-ish in our lifetimes, but for kids who are now juniors, I think Rory McIlroy is ancient at 32 to them now, but he's one of their heroes. Talking of role models, that Leona Maguire has come all guns blazing recently onto the LPGA tour. We're seeing her out there. She's performing incredibly, and back home in Ireland, it's having an effect. And what more could you want for the next generation coming through?
So we'll talk about the Irish Junior Open Tour in more detail, but just on a general scale, Michael, what kind of standard is junior golf in at the moment then over in Ireland?
Junior golf in Ireland, Steve. Well, I'm 37 now. I played golf. I started playing golf when I was 12. It has moved on leaps and bounds from the infancy of my career. Like whenever I was 13, 14, there was really only for elite. Junior golf was really, the bigger tournaments was only for elite golfers, whereas now it's more catered for boys and girls across, all age categories and all handicap levels. So it definitely has progressed, leaps and bounds in the 25 years that I've been involved in golf. Definitely, I feel there's still a wee bit more to go, but we're, with the likes of Harrington and Rory and Shane and Seamus Power and now Leona Maguire coming through, I definitely feel they're the trailblazers in Irish golf for the younger kids to look up to. And you need that growing up. I had Tiger growing up. Okay, he wasn't Irish, but he inspired me to play golf and progress and, want to keep going. And golf, as you know, is an addictive sport. Once you get involved with it, chances are you're not going to hang up the boots. You're going to keep, wanting to get down to scratch and continue to improve. So, I feel it's in a much better place than it was 25 years ago. And I feel it is improving. And definitely with the Open Championship coming to Portrush in 2019, coming back in 2025, it's definitely, it's in the right trajectory. I feel I've always been a great advocate of trying to get golf into schools in the national sort of curriculum. And I feel more needs to be done in that sense to try and get it into schools and trying to get it, played more freely. In Ireland, there's Gaelic football, there's hurling, there's hockey, there's a lot of different sports in the schools. But golf, as you know, it teaches a lot of life lessons. You can play it till you're basically you're ready to die. Whereas a lot of sports you can't do that. So I definitely think getting it into schools and getting it out there to the masses will help, keep the train running smoothly and keep progressing it.
It's interesting as well, you mentioned the professional surgeons, so did Stephen and Emma, and actually I'll get their take on this even more so, because as far as top level golf is concerned in Ireland, I mean, let's hear from those two, because I think it's about as good as it can be at the moment, isn't it? Let's hear from those two.
Strong and competitive at all levels, and with the, I suppose, helping various clubs from volunteers and parents and PGA pros, there's a nice, easy access to golf for kids of every age. Whereas maybe as I was growing up, there was an age limit. You had to be 10 years of age to start playing. Whereas now it's so accessible. You can play at any age. And then, you've with good volunteers, good helpers, the coaching structure in place, it becomes competitive quite quickly. So and then when you've got Michael Gallagher and various other people that are organizing kids tours, you can play a competitive round of golf at age 6 or 7, and that just means that the teenage golfers have really improved. And you see, we had the Irish Open Boys Championship here in 2019, and the quality of golf there was incredible. Like, it was under par golf, ended up winning it. So it just shows you the strength and depth in it across the country.
There are so many more competitions out there, like the sponsorship that Michael Gallagher's managed to get behind. His setup is incredible. He's put his heart and soul into developing that side. So having that level of competition for juniors across Ireland is amazing as well. The international teams, you can see the strengths coming through there as well, but boys and girls.
Let's just hear as well. We've got another clip as well from Stephen and Emma talking about how the professionals as well can inspire junior golfers. We'll talk about the person who's the figurehead, if you like, of the Irish Junior Open in a second or two. But let's just hear from Stephen and Emma about how professionals, not just ones in Ireland, but also over in the UK, can inspire juniors.
Our level, who's a PGA Pro, we have now got 10 or 15 Irish golfers where we could say to any junior, look at this person, emulate, have a look at their career, see what they have done. You look at Shane Lowry in the Midlands. What he has done is provided all the juniors in the Midlands with a sort of a stepping stone. It's something that they can aspire to.
When when sort of tour pros, the big names get involved with junior golf, it's nice for them to give something back, and they really want to. They love the game and they want to see the next generation coming through. So with the Daily Telegraph event, for instance, Justin Rose has been involved with that for a few years now. But it's not just putting his name to it. He doesn't live locally. He will make the effort to be there, and he talks to the players. You see little fragments of this in the coverage that we put out, but he's there pretty much the whole week talking to the players, giving them advice. He's such an approachable, lovely person, and he's there with his US Open trophy and his Olympic gold medal, and they all get to hold them and have photos. It's just that support, and he really cares, and I hope that comes across in the coverage that we show of that particular event.
So that was those two talking about Shane Lowry and also Justin Rhodes as well. Now, we mentioned the Irish Junior Open Tour, which has got their own figurehead, if you like, and not just anyone, but a legend of the game. I mean, Gary Player, a multiple major winner. I mean, I suppose the first question is how or why did he get involved with the tour?
So basically, it all started, I'm going to say 2017. I'm not 100% sure on the dates, but a good friend of mine, a boy called Barrett O'Brien from Limerick. Bart just was helping me run a few of the events, and Bart sent Gary Player's management team an email, and basically just snowballed from there to the point where Gary's multiple time communicated with some of the Gary Player Trophy champions. He met one of them at the Open Championship, ended up going taking one of the kids on the Sky Sports, at the range, live at the range, and give one of the Gary Player champion a lesson on Sky Sports. He's just unbelievable. Like one of the champions a few years ago, young lad called Rory Cooper. Rory had won, and literally Gary was on the phone congratulating him. Like, it's just been incredible, the stuff that he's done. Anytime I now have his daughters on my WhatsApp, and I would message them from time to time, just how they're keeping and all. And it's incredible how it's just snowballed, and how enthusiastic and how much he wants to give back. Like, it doesn't take a lot to give back, a wee bit of your time, but the importance of that there is, it's unmeasurable. Like, what he's doing to me is like for their Junior Open tour, till to basically put his name to it and send all these videos and talk to the kids, and it's just been incredible. And same with Darren Clark as well. Darren Clark's put his name to our winter tour. The late Payne Stewart. I got in touch with. I was always a massive fan of Payne. Loved the way he dressed. He was so charismatic. And growing up, I just loved him. And then the famous fist pump winning the US Open, like that just gives me chills thinking of it. So I wanted to get involved with Payne. So I sent Payne's management, his legacy management crowd, an email, and his wife and all came back and says, yeah, that'd be great. She even sent a congratulations. Tracy sent a congratulations message to one of the champions there a year or two ago. And then, Ping's obviously the sponsors of the autumn tour. So between Ping, Gary Player, Darren Clark, and Payne Stewart, they're all named on the trophies for the kids to win. And that I just think, because I grew up playing golf and I know what I wanted and what I enjoyed and what I felt wasn't out there, I basically just learned from that. I've always had a passion for teaching golf, junior golf, and just wanted to then, give them something to play in that I didn't have when I was that age. And I get excited. I get more excitement now running the events than I do playing golf. It's funny how it's just went full circle, in the sense that, now I'm getting as much enjoyment out of it now as when I did when I was, 12, 13 years of age and starting out.
So just give us a little bit of a background then for people who aren't aware. When did it all start, and why did it start?
So basically in 2013, I'd been teaching junior golf. Like, I could have been teaching between schools and up at Killymoon Golf Club, where I was the assistant professional. I could have been teaching over 100 kids a week. And there was nothing back in 2013 for basically 6 to 18-year-olds, boys and girls of all handicaps. That's why I called it the Open, the Irish Junior Open, because it was open to everybody. So I wanted to give people an opportunity. These young kids, 6 and 7, coming up to their golf lesson, and they're not to playing. There was no competitions for them to play in. Even the 12 or 13-year-olds, unless you were an elite golfer, single figure and low handicap golfer, there was no competitions apart from your club competitions to play in. So that's why I created the Irish Junior Open, to basically allow all these kids to come together. In 2014 was the first year of it. I actually got the idea standing on the range at the Irish Open. I just thought, I wonder if there's an Irish Junior Open, and there wasn't. So then I just basically went from there and started in 2014 with the help of many sponsors. Without the sponsors, Flo Yass is the main sponsor now, and they've been here from day one. Without the sponsors, none of this would have been possible. Emma touched on it there a moment ago, but the sponsors are so valuable to the running of the events, and the professional setup that I can afford to put on because of the sponsor support. But so basically 2014 is when the first year of it started. It basically just started, and there was the field full. It was fully booked within a few weeks. And then the second year, there was 360 kids came to it. After that, it was just one event in the first 2 years. And then once you get 360 kids coming to one event, I realised, right, this needs to be spread across the whole of Ireland rather than just my home golf club of Killymoon. So that's basically, it's just snowballed from there to now where there's approximately 24 events, mixture of junior events, adult and junior. The adult and junior events came about because the parents were coming to the events, and I was just thinking, they're hanging around all day. Why not give them an opportunity to play golf with their son or daughter or their grandchild or their friend or whatever it may be? So that's where the adult and junior events came about, and even some of the professionals have been able to play in it with their sons and our daughters, and they would never have got an opportunity to do that before. So, each year I just try and think, right, what hasn't been done, and what's going to basically keep everybody motivated and keep me motivated to, bring it to the next level. So that's basically how it started, and how it's continuing now.
Now I have to say this, and this is genuine. This is not a lie and everything, but I'm a golf journalist. I've played golf in probably 30 odd different countries around the world. Very fortunate in that sense. And I was on a golf trip once, and there's five of us there, 5 different journalists, and we said, what's our favourite golf course? and we all picked 5 different golf courses, so we didn't go for the same one. But of those 5 golf courses, 4 of us picked golf courses in Ireland. And I just thought that says everything about the standard of golf courses in Ireland that you can go and play with. Let's just hear it. We've got a piece from Stephen Barrett, and he talks about the standard of golf courses over in the other side of the Irish Sea.
You've got huge quality in golf courses. You've got some of the courses in the world can be neighbouring courses. I know in Portrush and Port Stewart, they're top 100 golf courses in the world. You've got huge amount of courses on the coastline that offers links golf, which is difficult to learn as a junior. If you have to play in the wind, you're battling against a lot of the elements, and juniors who have that to contend with, just it will improve their game as well. Quality of some of the parkland courses in the Midlands are huge, and what US kids, they play at a huge variety of golf courses, and that's where most countries would have to aspire to what happens in America. And what Michael Gallagher does with the Irish Junior Open and various other kids golf tours, he plays so many good courses, so the kids get a feel for all different types, variations, and quality courses throughout the season as well, which is always good on green staff and managers to keep them to that level, so that we can see what they're like and just give the kids a push on that side of it.
So just give us an idea about the courses which you've used, and also give us an indication of why you select a particular golf course to host an event.
So I'm going to start off with New Forest Golf Club, where Stephen's the head pro there. New Forest, for anybody that, obviously everybody comes, the internationals come across and have heard of all the top links courses and all, but you often hear of hidden gems in Ireland. New Forest Golf Club, to me, is up there with the best of the hidden gems. It's a fantastic golf course, and they're doing fantastic work there with the juniors. Mark Kelly is instrumental down there. But in terms of the golf courses that I picked, basically, over the winter time, I try to have links golf courses because the parkland courses is obviously too wet, and then throughout the sort of spring, summer, and autumn, it's more just I've sort of brought kids to golf courses where they've enjoyed, and they just they've been so welcoming and want they've been basically saying can't wait to have you back, and I'm happy to bring them back there because there's never a bad course. The courses in Ireland, they're always top class. They're always in good condition, especially coming in now to the summertime. And I basically try to as much as possible keep it a good spread across the country. Now there is parts of Ireland which are a wee bit more remote and a bit more it's a bit harder for parents to get to, which I would love to bring an event to them places, but you have to think of the people that are going to be traveling, and some of the times it just doesn't work out. But as much as possible, I try to bring it around as many of the counties as possible, and give the kids an opportunity so that they're not having to travel the length and breadth of Ireland to get to some of the venues.
That's a good point you make there, in the sense of there are courses out there which might be a little bit more difficult to get to. But do you sometimes go, well, we'll still go there because at least it gives them the opportunity to get kids there which may never have ever get the opportunity to go and play there, in the sense of it, you may not have a field which perhaps is half as many as some of the more easier to get to, but at least it gives them the opportunity. Is that how you take it sometimes?
No, definitely. You're 100% right. The only issue that I tend to come across, and this obviously is it's just shows you the success of golf in Ireland at the moment. With the last couple of years, obviously with COVID, everybody's been out golfing. Golf courses they're very busy. They don't have a lot of time. A lot of times it's difficult. With running a junior golf tour, you have to keep it to school holidays and weekends. So weekends to get a golf course, irrespective of where it is in Ireland, at the weekends is very difficult. And then over the summer months when they're off school and stuff, a lot of the time you approach golf courses and they're already very busy and fully booked, and it's difficult just to get some of them courses that are remote. And you always you'll find some of the remote courses sometimes are the top courses in Ireland, and like they just some of the courses want to work with you, and some of them unfortunately they don't. So that's just the way it is. But you know, the venues that the Irish Junior Open's been to has been brilliant. You know, there's a couple of new venues this year. Looking forward to going down to Rosslare. Rosslare just looks unbelievable. And Arklow, it was one of my favourite venues last year. It was the first time I'd ever been to it. Links course, whoa, unbelievable. So there is hidden gems there that you've never been to, and it's great, you know, going there and getting that wow factor and realizing, right, the kids are going to enjoy themselves here. So, you know, it's just been a case over the years. You know, a lot of the venues have just been, you know, delighted to have you back, and they can't wait to see you again. So that's basically how I tend to pick the venues.
Yeah. Now I joked earlier about the weather being in Ireland. So let's.
You're at the minute, Steve.
Oh, no doubt. It's probably it's always beautiful when I'm not there. Every time I go there, it's rained at some stage. But actually, in all seriousness, we've got Stephen and Emma coming back here, and there are positives to take out the fact that the weather can be a little bit indifferent, shall we say? Let's hear from Stephen and Emma.
If you stand up and play golf 18 holes in the rain and you enjoy it, you're going to enjoy it all the time. You just have to deal with it and battle through it. I think if a junior can go out and enjoy it, even in bad conditions, then it only stands to them in the future. You see a lot of the Irish people that go on tour, you would say for the most part, when the conditions are tough, the Irish, the English, you know, the people who have to deal with that as a junior, they tend to show their form when the conditions are tougher. So it can only stand to people of, you know, juniors growing up in these conditions can only be a good thing, really.
Golf is competing against lots of other sports for kids' attention. You play it outside in the rain and the hail, and let's be honest, in Ireland, there's a lot of wind, there's a lot of rain, so you have to really want to go and do it if you're going to stick at it. But I think it's just really positive at the moment, junior golf scene in Ireland. It seems to be growing. The inspiration is there, and most importantly, the Golf Union of Ireland have got a new force behind it. They're supporting it. They've got 5 pillars they're focusing on to develop the game, this for everyone strategy, and junior golf is a key part of that. So I think we're at a good place, and the future's looking pretty bright.
It's interesting the fact that she uses the word bright there. The 3 photos you saw there that was me playing golf. I won't name the golf course in Ireland. You might actually recognise it because it's hosted the Irish Open Championship. But those 3 photos were taken, and I'm not joking, about 10 minutes apart. So that's the weather. You went from one extreme to a beautiful blue sky, and then about 20 minutes later it flipped the other way around again, and you had it again. But in all seriousness, though, and Stephen made the point there, is the fact that if you can love the game in those types of conditions, then you're going to love, you know, whenever, aren't you?
No, 100%. That's the beauty with Irish golfers, especially the juniors growing up. They get experience of all weather conditions. You only have to look at Shane and Larry. Shane and Larry, when the bad weather comes in, apart from a few weeks ago at the PGA Tour event where he basically got soaked on the last hole or two, but generally speaking, Shane in the bad weather relishes it, and you nearly can just say, right, Shane's your favourite there in the bad weather, because he's became accustomed to playing in you know, all seasons in Ireland, you know. So it helps make the golfer a more rounded golfer, and it builds a wee bit of toughness with the kids. Like some of the events we've had recently with the Irish Junior Open, the wind's has been crazy, but it's, as I say, it's the same for everybody. And get your hat on, you boys and girls, and go out there and give it your best. And you know, it's the same for everybody, and it's just going to build a bit of toughness. And it's not as glamorous as the PGA Tour and the sunshine all the time, but it definitely it makes you a bit tougher.
It makes the parents a bit tougher as well, does it?
Yeah, you're right.
Now you mentioned earlier about why you go to particular golf courses. Let's hear from Stephen Barrett, who talks about how does a course set up for a junior competition. Let's hear from him and why does he want to host a junior open event?
It's huge. To put in one word, it's something that the juniors here as members and local golfers really look forward to. They talk about it for months in advance. Some of the kids that have played on the tour look forward to every event, and when one comes to their home course, it's just a bigger deal. I hadn't met Michael Gallagher until a member here currently had joined the club in 2019, and he put me in contact with Michael, and it was just an easy decision. We picked the day, we went for it, and the course is in great shape. Michael came down, ran the event. It was a huge day. We had nearly 40 to 50 juniors of all ages playing in it. They all had their club colours on that day. They were announced on the first tee box. It's a huge deal for somebody of the 8 to 10-year-olds. These things you don't experience, generally. Sometimes, as I said before earlier in this interview, a kid of 9 or 10 sometimes wasn't allowed to join a golf club because they were too young. And now they're able to join their club, and their home club has a huge event, coming up in the summer that they get ready for. So it's brilliant. Yeah, I'll host one every year, I think, here at New Forest.
I mean, he's probably done your sales pitch for you there. But if there's a golf club that watching this and they're thinking, well, yeah, actually, we might consider doing that. What would you say to them? How could they get in touch with you and get involved?
No, it's very straightforward. Basically just reach out on social media, which a number of clubs have done in the past. There's Stephen, for example. I first ran the event in 2019 at New Forest. I think Stephen said there was 40 or 50 of his own members there playing on. There was 186 played at New Forest in that event. And that event was, and I think it was one of the fastest ever sold out events. It was crazy, that event. It was basically all day. But reach out on social media or the Irish Junior Open website, and like this year's event's pretty much all sorted now, right up until the autumn tour. The autumn tour, which begins more than likely, it'll begin at the start of September. But if there's anybody out there that feels hosting an event would be or want more information on hosting an event, feel free to reach out and I'll talk to them and hopefully we can find some new venues. As Stephen said there, it's great there for the kids. They can go and play in an event in their home club, so they have that wee bit of an advantage. So as I say, just reach out on social media or the Irish Junior Open website.
Let's just hear from Stephen as well. Just if there's golf clubs watching here and they're thinking to themselves, well, what are the expectations? How would the club set up the golf course? Let's hear how he's going to set up New Forest for later this year.
Is a track that just requires accuracy and a lot of course management. It's small targets, so your vision from the tee boxes they're quite small. Even though the fairways are large, they're quite small visually. Some elevated greens, but a traditional parkland course. Middle of July, greens will be running quick. We'll set the course up quite nice. Like it'll be a good event. It's not like we just cut the grass normally. We'll have the greens a little bit quicker for the kids, and hopefully with some nice weather, the course will be looking really nice.
Just to give us an idea, Michael, about obviously you're going to have very different age groups playing in this competition. So a 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old would want a different type of golf course than the 16, 17, 18-year-old. So how do you approach that?
So this is the thing that I think a lot of golf courses sometimes don't get it right, in the sense that a 6-year-old can't compete against an 18-year-old. So obviously there needs to be a shortened golf course. What I do with the events, so there's actually 6 age categories starting now from the spring tour. So there's an under 7, under 9, under 11, under 13, under 15, and under 19. So basically there'll be a range of different team markers. The under 7s and under 9s will only play 9 holes, and they will have a maximum score of 8. So basically once they get to 8, they can lift their ball and put 8 on the scorecard. So anything that I do with the younger ones, or with any of them, is basically to encourage good scoring. They're used to seeing the people on TV shooting, 6, 7, 8, 9 under par. So why shouldn't they be able to do that? If you set the golf course up that it's not very, very short, but if it's short enough that gives them encouragement, and basically it allows them to have a bit of fun, make birdies, make eagles, make a hole in one, rather than it being a long slog where it's taking them 5 or 6 to reach the green, and they're losing their morale. I like to set it up that it is, it is shorter than they would normally be used to, probably playing, in their men's competitions or ladies competitions at home, and it encourages good scoring. And going back there to what I said at the start about golf clubs, I just feel golf clubs, a simple one for a golf club, which I think that, it doesn't cost them anything extra. 99% of golf courses have distance markers on the fairway. So I would be saying to them, apart from probably the par threes, but they can put a tee marker out there for the kids. But I'd be saying to them, right, you've maybe 3 different tee markers on each hole. Why not just have the cadets or the younger ones, the beginners, on the first tee marker? And as they progress, they're moving back to the second tee marker, back to the third tee marker. Then they're going to move to the ladies. Then they're going to move to the men. So there's a natural progression there, rather than just saying, here's your membership tag. Go and get a couple of golf lessons from the professional. And by the way, you're off the men's teaser. See you later. If there was a natural progression whereby they started at the forward tee and worked their way backwards, they're gaining encouragement and momentum. They're making birdies and they're driving par 4 greens, and they're high fiving their parents or whoever's carrying for them or whoever's out walking around with them. There's encouragement there. Like some of the low scoring that there's been in the Irish Junior Open events, it's been talked about now for years, and the parent or the kids will still come and say, remember that day I shot, A, B, and C score, and remember that day I had a hole in one. That's what I want to hear. I don't want them turning around and saying, that was so difficult out there, so tough. You know what? I don't think golf's for me. So that's basically where I have it with regard to the setup there for the tournaments.
Also, you mentioned earlier, obviously, with Darren Clark Trophy and the Gary Player Trophy and the Payne Stewart. So how does the order of merit work in the over the course of over the seasons and the how does that work?
Basically, there's 4 tours. There's the winter, spring, summer, and autumn. So with any of the Irish Junior Open events, kids can come and play in one event, or they can play in all the events. They just pick and choose whichever events they wish to play in. Regarding the tours, so there's basically there's all the age categories. So there's a leaderboard inside each of the age categories, so that kids of 7-year-olds, they can win the under 7 title if you like. Then there's an overall trophy or an overall title, which is the Darren Clark, Payne Stewart, Gary Player, and Ping trophies. So that's basically the person, irrespective of what age they are, whoever accumulates the most points across each tour wins the overall prize. And then, as I say, there's all the age categories. So all the age category champions, they'll also win a prize. So they will get to compete in the end of season tournament of champions, which the last 2 years it's been at Royal Portrush, which is hosting the Open, and Port Stewart Golf Club. So they get to compete in that. So there's 20. There was 20 last year. There'll be 24 this year. They'll get to compete in that. They'll also all get a brand new Ping stand bag for winning their age categories going forward. So as I say, all the events are individual events, but there's the added card, if you like. Whoever wins the age categories and whoever wins the overall title just gets that wee bit, the added extra, and it just encourages them to to play, get out and play, and compete.
Okay, now we're just going to hear from Emma Selfridge. I'm intrigued to find out. We'll ask you about this afterwards, but what role the media plays in promoting junior golf. So let's just hear from Emma.
Media has a key role to play, because I think it's really important that we are creating the right impression of golf, and we are showing that juniors are out there and that it is a young person's game, because unless you're involved in it, I think there is still a perception of it being a bit of a elitist sport, and let's be honest, it can be. And if you turn up at the wrong club anywhere in the world, you can feel like a complete outsider, although thankfully that side of it is definitely ebbing away. But I think the media really needs to be showing the progress of junior golf, and just how much fun it is. It's also harder for kids to access golf. It's not something that they just play in the playground at school, that you just need one ball and a group of mates and you can go for your life. You need a special place to do it, or it's dangerous, let's be honest. Even if you're pinging golf balls around a park, not advisable. So it does have barriers to it, but I think that's where the media plays a key point. We need to be showing the youth succeeding and people having fun and at local competitions. And also I would say that we all have a tendency, and it's probably it works both ways. We're trying to make things positive and saying, oh, look, here's 10-year-old so-and-so, he could be the next Rory McIlroy. But it's not about that. It's not always about that. And it's, that puts a lot of pressure on people as well. I think when they're emerging, as if they are, talented and look like they do want to pursue it, it's an awful lot of pressure to be the next Rory McIlroy. I mean, will there be another Rory McIlroy? Possibly not. So I think we need to just be careful of what our narrative is around it and make sure we're pushing the right things and promoting it for the great sport it is wherever possible.
You there, Steve?
Hello. Right. Yeah, I think, Michael, we might have just lost Steve a little bit. He's going to probably pop out and head back in. But from your point of view, let's talk media, Michael. I mean, obviously, social media is a saving grace, isn't it? Everything's accessible now. What do you do at the Irish Junior Open to really get the message out?
Social media has been incredible. I'm a very active user in social media. I just find it's easy, to basically communicate my passion, and keep the kids engaged and entertained and excited about what's coming up. I've been very lucky. I've great connections within a lot of the media. So anytime I've connected with them and said, look, running an event here, will you come down and showcase, the kids, and they're 99.9% of the time they're only willing to do it, so I've had a great relationship with the media, and as I say, social media has definitely been great for spreading the message and spreading the word.
How's your relationship with my internet?
What's that?
It's not very good here.
Hello, you can hear me, Steve? Hello?
I think he's gone again, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's still there, but Steve, your internet's...
I think right here, so I don't know. But right now, let's talk about the Champions event, because that's an event which is slightly different from the Irish Junior Open. So just explain how that came about.
So basically, the Champion of Champions came about in 2019. It was actually my partner's brother just sitting down one day, and he had mentioned to me that now would be a great time to start up a worldwide champions event. With regards out there, I just sort of thought, you know what, he's right. Bringing all the top junior golfers and all the champions from across the world to Ireland, showcasing what we have to offer, and bringing along the Irish champions as well. So that basically gave me the cart and the impetus to progress on with it. Then I reached out to a number of the junior golf tours all around the world and explained what the plan was, and they were all on for it. Obviously, COVID, with it being an international golf event, COVID basically decimated it in year one, 2020. There was only a handful of internationals playing, and even then it was, they had to basically come through the green corridors or whatever they were called at the time. Last year, there was a few more internationals got to play, maybe about 40. This year now, we're all guns blazing. 250 junior champions, which is a full field, coming from over 40 countries from around the world. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to be held at the top 5-star golf resort in Ireland, Loch Earn. And it's a day in July.
We've got some photos of Loch Earn.
Yeah, so it's going to be incredible. Like, you have 250. Loch Earn's held the G8 with all the world leaders. It's Rory McIlroy was the touring professional there for a number of years. It's just spectacular, and I'm looking forward to it. And to be honest with you, this is the first year that since it was sort of the inception, when the vision was out there to basically have it all international. This is the first year we've been able to actually have it international, purely because the COVID restrictions now are, basically gone, across the UK and Ireland. So I'm looking forward to it now. And in the last few days, there's been we have finalised the opening ceremony. So there's going to be bagpipes and Irish dancers. Maybe a wee bit of something special going on as well. So, 3-day World Amateur Golf Ranking Tournament. It's now the biggest junior champions invitational in Europe. So it's been moving on pretty quickly, and going forward, basically, my goal is for just to create a junior golf champions event unlike no other in world golf.
Let's hear from Stephen Barrett, because he's played Lochern. So just to give you an idea, I mean, I've played it as well, and I'm sure you have as well. Let's hear what his thoughts are on the actual golf course that these juniors are going to play.
It's a great test. It's long, obviously, for playing off the normal men's tees. It is a long course, so Michael can set that up whatever way he wants. But it's tricky. A lot of water on the course. Opportunities to lose golf balls and rack up high numbers. It's a test. It is a good test, but Lochern always is in good shape. I've played it maybe 4 or 5 times myself, and really, really challenging to try and get under par on that course. So it'll be a good test for anyone who does make the final, which is a great event. The Champion of Champions is just huge. It's to have internationals coming to play an event that is to 10, 11, 12-year-olds. It's great. It's very similar to, if you were talking about professional golf here, you look at Rory McIlroy. He would have went off, and I think it was either 9 or 10 years of age. He went to play in the World Junior Amateur Series in America and won it. To give Irish players an opportunity to feel that in their home country and let other people from other countries come over here, it's great. I think it's fantastic.
That's it. It's twofold, isn't it? It's not only the opportunity for Irish golfers to play in a massive event, but also for international golfers to come and play in an Irish event as well. So that must be exciting for you to even think about what might happen.
Yeah, no, like Irish golf across the world is renowned, and a lot of these champions from around the world, they've looked at the Irish golf courses, and obviously they know Rory and Shane and stuff, and they just want to come over here and play. But it's coming over and playing in a top class, World Amateur Golf Ranking event where they're competing against champions from all across the world on one of the top courses in Ireland. It's just going to be a treat for them, and that time of the year, Lochern's just going to be impeccable. Even just, I was up there a few weeks ago just doing a bit of a site inspection, and just when you drive in through the gates and you see the hotel, you just think to yourself, wow, that's the only word, and the kids are just going to be like, even the parents, it's just going to be a spectacular, like there's 250 kids, and then they're going to bring their families. It's going to be an unbelievable experience. There could be up in 800, 1,000 people at the opening ceremony. It's just going to be a spectacular event for them, and hopefully we get the good Irish weather we're getting at the moment. That sunshine that we get all year round here, Steve.
Absolutely, and also, I mean, one of the photos that we showed there was the 18th hole there, and that's a beautiful finishing hole there with water down the right as well. You see, so you might have a really fantastic finish to the tournament as well.
Well, yeah, the 18th hole, par 3, over the whole hotel and the whole resort basically just overlooking it. Even if there's a playoff, last year at Tulforest, which is another fantastic course, another course I love. Even at Tulforest, the under 12 boys, they went to a playoff, and again it was sort of that amphitheater in front of the hotel, and the crowds around the 18th green were amazing. And just to have that, it's an impressive, like you've been at it yourself, it's an impressive venue, and looking forward to it now. More so just the fact that now the world's looking a lot brighter. The COVID thank God, is hopefully now, you know, in the rear view mirror, and you know, we can look forward to brighter days ahead, and you know, just providing more opportunities. As I was saying to you there, you know, a while back, each year I just try to think of, you know, or try to, you know, get different ideas, whether it's from myself or from whoever it may be. You know, it's just nice to, you know, give kids, you know, opportunities that, again, just going back to whenever I was playing, that there wasn't there.
So let's look at the future then. We'll hear Emma's thoughts on the future, because obviously from her point of view as well, with ladies golf or girls golf, Leona Maguire is doing very well. I noticed Beth Coultier is in the Curtis Cup squad. She's the youngest player in the squad, so a lot to look forward to in girls golf. Let's just hear what Emma has to say about that.
We're going to see the knock-on effect, hopefully, now of Leona amongst the girls section as well. And I think Ireland does mirror the way that junior golf is in a lot of places. You know, it's still more popular with boys. It is still more of a male game, but hopefully now things will be like turning a little bit now that they've got Leona to sort of gun for as well. And, you know, once it is that thing, isn't it? If you see it, you can be it. And we use that a lot with female sports women, I know, but it's the same with men as well. You know, seeing Rory McIlroy, who's just a little boy from Hollywood doing well, and you live in a little town in Ireland somewhere, you know, why not? Why couldn't you do it?
And I suppose that's your thought as well, is what you're looking forward to in the future, is the fact that this hopefully will go on, and of course, don't forget, we've got the Ryder Cup coming to Ireland as well in a few years' time again.
Yeah, no, totally. What Emma was saying there is 100% right. I think, you know, the Leona Maguire thing is definitely going to progress junior golf in Ireland, specifically with the girls, in the same way that Rory done, you know, whenever he burst on the scene. Like going back till when Rory won, I think his first major, I can't remember where it was now, but his first major, the week after that, I was never as busy in my life giving golf lessons. Parents were basically ringing me up all day, you know, can you give my son or daughter a golf lesson? And it was just crazy. And that, you know, that did progress onwards. And there was definitely a lot of, you know, young golfers came out because of Rory. And I think now with the Leona thing, and, you know, Seamus Power starting to play well, you've obviously got Rory. I think Rory's going to start firing on all cylinders one of these days. Or if Rory was to win the Masters in a few weeks' time, you know, it would just be incredible. So you need all them wee catalysts to, you know, re-energize and re-engage the younger golfers, and give them some, you know, give them a figurehead to look out for, and you know, aspire to be. So, you know, it's great in that sense. You mentioned the Ryder Cup, and obviously the Open, and as always, the Irish Open is always, you know, a main tour event. But I just feel now's the time. Really just would love love junior golf to get, you know, break that mold and get into the schools, because it's you know, it's cross community. There's no you can basically be any nationality. You know, there's nothing there. Anybody can play golf. So I think it's a perfect sport to get into schools, and I hope the governing body of Ireland, the Golf Ireland, can really hammer it home in the next few years and get into golf, get golf into schools. Coming up now, as I say, the Open coming back to Portrush, and the Ryder Cup coming to Adair Manor.
Well, the beauty about what you said there, and the passion is obvious, is the fact that you're not settling still, are you? You know that there's more work to be done, if you like. There's more opportunities out there, and it can only get better.
No, 100%. You know, I'm not one to rest on my laurels, as I say. With my events, I'm always trying to find the next level and try and think of something different. You know, too many people talk about growing the game, but I would rather them, you know, talk less and more actions. So I definitely feel if we can, you know, get you know what they're doing there with regards New Forest there, Stephen Barrett and Mark Kelly, as I talked about. They have a great setup there for junior golf. You know, obviously it takes people like Mark and Stephen there that are involved, and, you know, that look to progress golf, and they have a team of volunteers down at New Forest. And obviously that's not going to be the same in every golf course, but, you know, if you got a basically a start, and you got if you got some of the members there to help out, and grow it from, basically the ground up, you don't know how it can progress. As I was saying there about Mark started there a couple of years ago, at New Forest, helping out with the juniors, and like their junior setup there is unbelievable. And that's only going to lend through to the adult membership in years to come. And it just takes people like that there, and if the governing bodies can sort of get it more involved in the schools, the future's bright. It is bright, but it could be brighter.
Absolutely, we can always get better. The one thing as well, after that as well, is I will be there for that New Forest event, taking photos of some of your juniors playing in that. So, hey, look, Michael, I really appreciate your time this evening. It was a shame we had to delay it for 24 hours because it was supposed to go ahead last night, but I really appreciate the fact that you've managed to come on and give Irish golf the backing that it needs, and it is appreciated from over on the other side of the Irish Sea. We do appreciate all the work that you're doing towards junior golf.
Guys, just on that note, speaking about the other side of the pond, you have a lot of, you're talking about the professionals and getting involved. Robert Rock, Tommy Fleetwood, putting their names to tours over there, and obviously Natalie and Norman and Roger that runs the European Junior Golf Tour. Like, there's lots of good golf going over there as well. So credit where credit's due. I think the future of junior golf with people that got involved in the UK and Ireland is definitely it's only going to go one way.
Yeah, we all agree to that. All right, look, appreciate your time, Michael. We're just going to have to say what's going on in the next podcast, aren't we, Ian? That we're going to be covering, hopefully might be even next week because I'm going away for a couple of weeks. So we're going to be covering county junior golf next week. So we've got David Gamble on, who is part of the Cambridgeshire Golf Union. They've actually been nominated for the England Golf Team of the Year award, so it'll be great to hear him. Now, the actual Cambridgeshire boys team, they're playing in a Midlands final the following week, actually, against Warwickshire. So it might be a feisty the atmosphere, because we're going to get them on as well. So we're going to get the two of them talking. I don't know whether they're going to give away any tactics about what they're going to do in the match, but that'll be interesting. And also we've got Ladies European Tour professional Fliss Johnson is on as well. So we've got some celebrities on next week as well. So another big show, and some big shows coming up as well, including one about Scottish golf, which will be fascinating.
So yeah, thank you, Steve. Yeah, thanks, Michael. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, and have a good evening.